What's up, residents? It's your mayor Alistair back once again with some more Godzilla Kong goodness. The new empire has really resonated with fans for its epic monster action and its gripping emotional story. When the Scar King is set loose upon the world, Godzilla is immediately set in motion to put a stop to him, crossing oceans to power up, to charge his abilities, and really stand toe-to-toe against his army and the Frost Titan, Shimo. Killing Tiamat and absorbing her DNA and radioactive energy, the King of the Monsters was able to evolve to become 20 times more powerful than his standard form, a monster of unimaginable power. During this, Kong has received a gauntlet called the Beast Glove from a Monarch project codenamed Powerhouse, which had a sole purpose of making the Titans even more powerful. But in order to stop the Scar King, his army, and Shimo, he's gonna need more power. Something with teeth and an atomic death ray. So he sets out to Cairo to recruit Godzilla to his mission, which you'd think would be easy since at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, they left each other as allies, since Kong helped save Goji's life from the clutches of the apex titan killer, Mechagodzilla. So Kong reaches his arm into the sky and lets out a booming roar to get Godzilla's attention, who somehow hears the call all the way in Gibraltar, 2,186 miles away, which just goes to show how amazing his hearing is. So he leaps from the cliff and swims thousands of miles straight to Kong. But instead of immediately joining forces and becoming, as the title suggests, Godzilla Kong, he goes straight for Kong, eyes locked, ready to pounce. And despite the best effort from Kong to try and communicate with the big lizard, telling him to stop and head with him through the portal, he was not able to put a stop to the violent nature of the King of the Monsters. But why? Like we said, they're on good terms. Despite Kong's best attempts to get Godzilla to stop and listen, to redirect his anger towards the Scar King in the Hollow Earth, he still charges straight at the ape and crashes him through the first wonder of the world. I've seen some people theorizing that Godzilla is so amped up on power that he goes into a full-on roid rage, comparing it to what happens to Superman in Justice League, who just woke up and attacks the first people he sees, or kind of like the T-Rex in the Lost World that goes on a complete monstrous rampage looking for his baby. But is this really what happened? Well, there's actually a few explanations. Adam Wingard stated that whilst Godzilla and Kong were on good terms, at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, the agreement was, you take care of the Hollow Earth, I'll watch over the surface, but don't let me see you here again. Godzilla is still extremely territorial, and whilst Kong doesn't remember the Titan War that the Scar King instigated, Godzilla does. He was there and saw what he was capable of. So the King of the Monsters isn't so easy to forgive the apes for disturbing the peace. And whilst Kong was on good terms, he overstepped his boundary by showing up on the surface. Dr. Eileen Andrews stated early on in the film that if Kong was to ever leave Hollow Earth, Godzilla would come straight for him, leading to increased tensions throughout the film. Outside of territorial disputes, the potential other reason that Godzilla targets Kong is because he's getting signals calling for help, which is what led him to power up in the first place. And then here comes Kong calling to Godzilla. His instincts tell him that Kong could be the one causing the distress call, working with Scar as part of his primate army, and he went in guns a-blazing. Their fight was brutal, and whilst Kong got some well-deserved hits in, at the end, Godzilla had Kong under his foot, the same maneuver that stopped his heart in the previous film. But before he was able to finish the job, Mothra came along and blasted Godzilla off him with her supersonic wind. And in a touching moment where Godzilla looks at Mothra as if he saw an angel, she tells him that he and Kong need to work together to put a stop to the rising threat in the Hollow Earth. And then they both let out a roar in unison to symbolize their newfound alliance. Whether or not this alliance is temporary is yet to be seen, but for the time being, Godzilla is able to put aside his territorial issues and recognize that there is a far greater threat that needed to be extinguished. So to conclude, answering the question, why did Godzilla attack Kong? Well, Godzilla is still extremely territorial, And whilst their alliance formed to take down Mechagodzilla was necessary, it was temporary. And in Godzilla's eyes, when Kong showed up in Egypt, he violated their agreement and he leapt into battle. But what will it take next that will force Godzilla and Kong to work together? We'll have to wait and see. Adam Wingard has said he aims to recreate the darker, emotional tone of Godzilla vs. Destroyer, so whatever it is could lead to Godzilla's demise. But let us know in the comments down below if you want to see them team up again or if you'd prefer a solo film. Be sure to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.